Hey folks, Segasonicfan here, and today I'm repairing a PES51 soldering iron wand made by Weller. These are for use with the PES51, WES51, and WESD51 soldering stations, which are nice. They've been around for a long time, and I've used mine for many years, which is great. But Weller, for a long time kind of had a hold on the soldering equipment kind of marketplace and kind of price gouged quite a bit. They still do. And one of the things they kind of gouge on is these wands, because these are about anywhere from $35 to maybe $60 a pop to replace. And I swear I have to go through these once every year, I'd say at least, just because of the way they're made and how they hold up. I don't want to say that it's necessarily a manufacturing flaw, but repairing them and working on them is definitely a hassle, as is the overpriced replacement cost, in my opinion. I think it's vastly overpriced for what it is. And so I want to show people how to repair these and kind of make a record of what you can do if you don't have that $35 to $55, or you just don't want to, throw this in the trash and you want to take a stab at seeing how these work and all that good stuff. So the first thing that you'll notice is that there is a strain relief. Maybe this is the first thing you'll notice. There's a strain relief on the end of the wand, and it's just a rubberized grip that you have to kind of twist off. And then there's no other relief after that. And so what a common way that these break is there just gets to be kinks and problems with the joint of the cable there. And the cables they seem fairly well made, but I don't know why that is that becomes an issue. The other is that there is I don't know what these are. I forget the technical name for these, but this kind of a stopper that's inside here so that you can't just pull it out. And likewise, if this gets tugged on too hard, that'll give you some serious problems. I wish they designed this differently with a plug or something like that. And then once you are inside this thing, which I'll explain in a minute how you get to this step, then you have 6 or 5 connections that need to be repaired. Usually what I do is when I go to repair these, I cut off a portion of the cabling, and I go to actually replace it with some kind of basically moving it up the chain. So you cut and then you shorten the cable. And it's true, you'll have a shorter cable than you had before as a trade-off doing this repair. But if you're lucky, at least you'll have a working setup and something that you can actually use. And so that's nice to have. But one thing you should know, though, is when you open this, there's a white holder that kind of holds all these various connections together. And then these are all crimped. They're not actually soldered. I don't have the crimps to actually, recrimp these wires. But and these do get warm, but they should not get so warm that they're going to melt solder. And so what I've done is actually just soldered them all, and I've soldered the crimp itself, since that's an easy way to get a nice strong contact. And then as you can see here, I'm using 2 helping hands to just kind of ease that soldering job. And then there's a white holder that this goes in, and then this will slide back down. It'll go all back in the handle, and you're good to go. A couple things you can do to minimize future damage, and also I should explain how you take this all apart, because that's the part that really sucks. This guy, as you can see, there's kind of a ridged metal here, and it gets socketed into this plastic, and I do believe this might even be molded around that connection. So the only way to really get this taken apart that I have found is you actually have to heat this up quite a bit, and you'll notice it did get a little bit of the grip here. It's not the worst thing. But you have to really heat this up, and then you have to pull on it. Usually what I use is needle nose pliers on the edge of the barrel, the very end, and I pull. You want to be careful not to necessarily hold this grip, because this grip will slide off. So you hold here, and then you pull after it's really heated up. This particular one I had to heat up quite a lot, and it was a pain. The other thing I would recommend is before you do that, actually cutting the cable. Just in case that becomes another thing you have to pull on. And if you do all that successfully, you should be able to pull it out with this stopper, this metal stopper that's inside the handle. and it all pulls up, and you get what you see here. What you want to avoid, of course, is pulling on these wires from within inside the heating element here, because if you break a connection inside here, good luck. You're probably toast at that point. But if you can repair these connections, you will find, and you replace that and you shorten the cable by basically getting rid of the original kinked part. What you'll probably find is a pretty good working setup. It's pretty rare that the connection here, this kind of pseudo DIN connection, will actually go bad. I've seen it maybe once in 10 years. It's not very common in my setup anyway. But yeah, I'm going to put this thing back together and then give it a test. I also recommend using, if you have it at your disposal, my good old friend Kapton tape, or polyamide. Kapton is the brand name. That's what everyone calls it now, but it's actually called polyamide. And that is a heat-resistant tape. You've probably seen it in circuits. It's kind of yellowish orange in color. And you want to use, of course, heat-resistant things when you're working with a soldering iron, which is what we happen to be repairing here. So it makes a lot of sense to use that. Let me know if this video helps you out. I always like hearing from people and, like hearing that these are useful to somebody, because I just make them to help you all out. This is Segasonicfan, signing out.